Good afternoon, ladies and gents. Welcome to this Market Insights. I just want to have a look here at gold, and we're going to focus in on a potential setup and opportunity, but I think is developing and unfolding at the moment for a long. We're going to start here with some market profile and volume profile, then we're going to move down into some primary analysis, have a look at some price patterns, we'll look at where potential entries and opportunities are within this trade. So gold has been in a fairly well sustained downtrend now, considerable period of time. We've been trending lower here from around the 16th of June. So the second half of this month has been a really nice consistent downtrend here just on the hourly chart. And as we've made our way down, our market profiles, our volume profiles have left us with a few opportunities here to suggest for some potential longs. I'm going to start right back in time here with this double distribution. So double distribution on the volume profile. And then a bunch of single prints on our market profile through here. Now, multiple elements to that. One can act as resistance, as we saw in the subsequent day, which failed at the bottom of that low volume area, and at the bottom of those single prints acting as resistance moving lower. But these low volume areas, also areas left, price discovery left to be completed, so often act as a magnet, drawing the price back up through these areas, which are going on to be filled. We saw that actually previously, a few days prior to that, we saw a bunch of single prints here, and it was actually that day in question at the moment where we traded back down through that single print, through that low volume area. I just spent a little bit of time and built a little bit of volume in that previously sort of undiscovered area. Now, as we continue our journey down here, everything looked fairly well placed for continuation to the downside. We had poor lows making our way down through here. We also had poor lows at the bottom here, and those poor lows suggesting particularly weak buying and sustained selling pressure and expectation for those poor lows to go on to be broken. That was also sort of reinforced by this really strong excess at the highs, suggesting very strong selling. So this was all very healthy. Everything looked relatively uniform for trend continuation to the downside. However, since then, we have seen a bit of a turning point. We've started to see poor highs be established at the top of the day, suggesting a particularly weak selling at those levels, quite happy to spend considerable periods of time trading at the highs. Now, this isn't a poor high because we have a TPO print at the top. However, it is a ledge. And again, similar theory with that. Market happy to spend time up there, no real aggressive selling or sustained buying pressure up at this level, so suggesting perhaps buyers in control at this point. Supporting that, again, coming into yesterday, we have another small little ledge very up near the high of the day, just one single TPO trading at the top. So again, suggesting significant amount of time spent at these highs, not a very prolonged period of selling. We've also now got excess trading down at the lows, suggesting strong buying, and that's happened in 2 days back to back now. And ultimately, we saw a similar scenario in the day prior to that also, where we had this string of single prints and just a little bit of excess trading down here at these lows. Again, similar to that double distribution up at the top here, we've got another double distribution here, another raft of single prints. And again, it's a low volume area, it's a low volume node on our volume profile, and these single prints on the market profile. Again, an area which the market is going to want to trade back through in an element of sort of price discovery and ascertaining where is fair value for this asset. So there's numerous signals. So those still trending lower. We've got multiple signals here to saw an attempt to break down through this low, which sits just above the 1900 candle. One final flush. Quite often at the end of a trend, you'll see that last exhaustive move. Effectively now, there's been a bunch of stop losses that have been run and taken out here. And there's not a huge amount of selling left to be done. Those which have been short that have kind of had a superb couple of weeks, and those which tried to get long in here have now been stopped out potentially on this little final flush. Now, with not a huge amount of selling left to be done, that of course opens up the opportunity for some longs. And we've come back and just retested that same level. We tried to break below and have closed back above relatively positively, relatively aggressively, back above that level, and importantly above the 1900 handle, which sits just below that. Now that has then also opened up the opportunity here for a price pattern, and that price pattern being an inverse head and shoulders, and we're just looking down here. We've got a bit of a double shoulder on the left here, below being the head, and then our right shoulder currently in formation. So should we see a break through that neckline, that could open up the sort of low volume recovery trade coming back through these two blue boxes, which we could see, which were those single prints and low volume areas on the volume profile. Now, if I just remove that head and shoulders and we just put that in as a level, it is a relatively strong resistance level. We can see numerous failures back there previously. And if we just bring that and compare that to our profiles, let's just bring those back in and remove the price action. You can see that level where that neckline falls is right on the session high of yesterday. It also falls in line with the session lows and the low volume area, low volume node from 2 days previous. So it naturally is a good primary resistance level, so that's very supportive of longs. And it's interesting to see here, under this profile, of course, still developing, but we have got a bit of a ledge formation already being developed on today's profile, suggesting minimal selling at this point. So primary wise, things are shaping up quite nicely. Now also from in terms of where are the large players, where is the volume distributed at the moment, and we can see the point of control remain very high up on this day, up through here. Let's just mark that out, grab an ellipse on here. Point of control remaining near the high of the day, suggesting again that accepted prices at a higher price point. We've seen that point of control move lower and value area clearly stepped lower as well, but since then point of control has maintained this price in and around that 1909 region, and also looking at yesterday's profile, point of control remaining at the high of the day, creating a P shape. Now a P shape profile at the bottom of a downtrend, suggesting bullish reversal and a move back higher. Now again, all of this is pure speculation. We need to see clear evidence that something has changed in this, and that would be a move back up above and beyond this 1913 handle somewhere up through here. Now this afternoon at 1:30 we've got PCE data coming out of the US. That PCE data, the Fed's preferred measure of inflation, maybe that is the catalyst to create that, prompt that step change here and a move higher in gold. Now that's predominantly going to come if we see some dollar weakness and therefore a more dovish Fed. So a reduction in those PCE figures this afternoon would result in a dovish Fed, and therefore weakening of the dollar, enabling gold to perhaps rally and ultimately then continue on what has previously been on the higher time frames an uptrend. So could we see then continuation of this major trend? So a very interesting chart here at the moment on gold. I think the inverse head and shoulders has potential to play out, longs through that 1914 handle somewhere around that region to sort of confirm the thought process that we have here, and then you're looking at runs up towards previous resistance at 1933, or alternatively you make your way back through both of these low volume areas and you head up towards the 1950 sort of a region, that nice round number handle in focus. So could this be the turning point? Perhaps PCE will provide us with that turn today and the catalyst to prompt a shift in this trend, but certainly from a technical standpoint, from the inverse head and shoulders, that final flush in the price, the support levels at 1900, and then ultimately our market volume profiles, everything here shaping up quite nicely at the moment to perhaps build a bias for some longs, even if not today, coming into the next couple of weeks or so. So that's it from today's insights. Hopefully that's a useful look at a few of the tools and techniques which we cover here at LAT and which you can hopefully implement into your trading. Please do join us again for another insight, and I'll speak to you all soon.